got Daytona Cinematique. We want to give Daytona Cinematique a round of applause for allowing us to be there every Wednesday. We have events going on all throughout the month. There are calendars on all the desks that you can share and bring and let people know. It's a great venue. We're privileged to be able to be here. I think it's one of the finest venues, as Tom said last week, in all 1 million cups throughout the country. So we also want to thank Volusia County Economic Development for their partnership with us, and they help fund us so we can be here every Wednesday. We have a bunch of new faces in the room today. So Sean, she spells the name the right way, Sean Foster? Yep. Sean. We got 3 Seans in the room today. She owns a business in Daytona Beach Shores. It's a beautiful little restaurant you need to check out on A1A. And so we'll...
She's new too.
You want to tell us what it is?
Yeah, I own a business called Summit Business Network. We do full service accounting, CFO consulting, all the way up to strategic development.
Great, thank you for coming. Yes, and Beach Bliss is the restaurant in Daytona Beach Shores you need to check out. We got another gentleman over here. What do you do? Are you retired or are you just hanging out? Tell us.
My name is Daniel Moniano, and I'm developing a platform called Contractor Connect, designed to match homeowners with contractors in a very efficient, cost-effective way.
All right, very good, excellent.
And then the gentlemen agree, they're new too.
Yeah, the gentleman in green. I like that. Is that the name of your company?
Yeah.
Well, welcome. We appreciate you. All throughout the country, we have entrepreneurs sharing their story through 1 Million Cups, brought to you by the Kaufman Foundation. So tonight, before we get to our speaker today, we've got a couple great things that are coming up. On November 11th, we are going to be celebrating. I'm sorry, let me get this right. On November 12th, we're going to be celebrating 11 years. Woo! So at that meeting on the 12th, celebrating 11 years, we're going to have some extra little items for you, like some breakfast, brought to you by Aero Clinical Trials. A little extended meeting. We have 2 very good guest speakers. Michael Benedict, who's a partner in Dunes Brewery, and a bunch of other businesses, a great entrepreneur in our area, providing jobs and opportunities. He's going to be speaking, along with one of our own, Jen Rogers with Just Peachy Clean. She's going to be speaking. So make sure you bring a friend. That would be fun. Let's fill a room. We also have, on October 22nd, we have a town hall meeting here where we won't have a speaker.
We'll be hosting it.
Okay, you're gonna be hosting it?
That's why I didn't
Oh, we need to fill the room, as you've been told. So that's a little more casual setting where we pass the mic around, share ideas, and work off of one another. And then we have the very next day, our business after hours. Do we know a location that's gonna be at?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Val's house. How's that? Good.
Yes.
So, all right, so we got a lot of fun things coming up. Keep in touch with us on Facebook, and we'll make sure that we keep that information out to you and share it to you every week. So, our speaker today, Caitlin Healy with Ripple Leadership. Let's give her a nice welcome.
So, you'll learn about this in my presentation, but I'm going to do something real quick. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. There we go. That comes back from my Chamber of Commerce days. Well, I'm super excited to be here. I'm Caitlin Healy. I'm the co-founder of Ripple Leadership Coaching. I've seen a few 1 Million Cup presentations, so I'm going to hopefully do the format justice and tell you a little bit about my journey, some of my offerings, what I'm working on, some of my hiccup areas, things that I would love some support from the group with, and we'll just jump right in. Oh, if I know how to use the clicker right. There we go. So the first part of the presentation, of course, is who am I? Like, what am I all about? So I'm a proud dog mom to Miss Bailey over here. And so yeah, dog mom's in the house, heck yeah. I love thrifting and home decor. Back during COVID, I started a Globe collection, and recently I put them all up on my wall. And so my necklace is a little bit of a nod to that. I just think they're really pretty, and the history behind them is really interesting. And as business owners, we track our KPIs, and so Globes track the progress of all of humanity. So I think that's pretty interesting. I love live music. These are some friends of mine that I met while I was in Brooklyn, New York. And then just recently, as of this year, I have started singing. So I'll make a plug. If you need the national anthem sung Bunny audition, please. And then I want to talk a little bit about my business community as well. So I, previous to creating my business with my partner, worked for the DeLand and Greater West Volusia Chamber of Commerce. And so there's a few of you that I know in this room from that connection, so I'm really grateful to see you all out here today. And then this year we joined the Daytona Chamber.
Yay.
And I'm really grateful that I was able to present at Elevate Daytona Beach this year on the topic of the cart and the horse of business fable and why you really need to start taking care of your culture in order to make sure your operations are working sound and smooth. I am also in a BNI chapter. I am, of course, now a new member of this fabulous community.
Yay.
And I'm really passionate about volunteerism as well. So I am, this evening, actually going to be inducted as the president of the Kiwanis Club of West Volusia.
Nice.
And I'm also a member of the Rotaract Club of DeLand. So if there's any young professionals interested in doing some volunteerism, I would love to connect with you. And this is my professional journey. So I was born in Brooklyn, New York, but my family moved down here when I was quite young. So I did all of my education here. I graduated from Deltona High School. Then I went to the University of Florida. Okay, split room. I knew that was a little dangerous. And I know they just apparently had a pretty rough game recently, so we won't linger on that. And then 3 weeks after I graduated, I packed up my car and I moved back to Brooklyn because that's where my whole family was born and raised. And I heard all these great stories, and I wanted a chance to live in what is deemed, the greatest city on planet. So while I was up there, most of my time I spent in charter school operations. So I started off as an office coordinator, then an ops coordinator, an ops manager. I helped charter a new location, so getting all of the supplies, systems. Building culture was also a responsibility of ours, because if you don't have all the supplies that teachers need, they get a little angry at you. So I learned some lessons in that arena, and then I decided, okay, I'm going to come back to Florida. I was going to pursue my master's in clinical mental health, and so I got a job working at some different universities in the admissions departments, and I did a lot of interviewing in those roles, and that was so important because it really helped me to meet people where they were at and drown out the noise of what mom or grandpa who's paying for your tuition wants for you, and what do you really want for you? What do you want out of these 3 years? I was the transfer recruiter. So what do you want out of your college experience? Where do you want your life to end up? And then I decided, okay, wait, this mental health thing isn't quite for me. This isn't the right avenue to make the kind of change I want in the world. So I discontinued the program, and then I decided, okay, let me keep doing this recruiting thing. And I started recruiting in jobs. So I worked for a government contractor in healthcare, and then I worked for a major kidney provider here in the country. And so again, we kind of continued, well, what kind of lifestyle do you want? Are these hours really what you want? Do you have kids? Do you have a family? Do you have career aspirations? Or do you just want a 9 to 5, come in, come out kind of thing? And then it was after that opportunity, I said, I want to take this to the next level. I want to become an entrepreneur, and I think the best way to figure out how to do that is to start spending time with people who are entrepreneurs. And so I pursued the role at the chamber, and then I met a fabulous community. I met the person who would become my mentor and is now my business partner, which brings us to Ripple Leadership Coaching, which is my current chapter. And so we are all about building leaders for the future. And so a lot of people ask me, they think, well, what is a coach? Like, why the word coach versus consultant or counselor? And I think a coach is really the sweet spot in between the two. A counselor, and I know we have a mental health counselor in the room, so I'll take feedback after. But a mental health counselor is typically looking to the past. What are things that happened in the past that inform how we operate today, and working through some of those things so that we have a more productive life going forward. A consultant is the far other end. They look at what you're currently doing, they look to the future, and they typically prescribe an answer. And then they do their assessment, they give you a report, they say, go do this stuff, see ya, they're out. The coach is that sweet spot because we look at the full spectrum of where you've been, where you're at, where you want to go, and then we practice accountability along the journey because, how many of us are told, by our doctor, oh, go do that thing, go walk the mile or eat the fruit, and then we go back a year later and our waistline's gone up an inch and we haven't done any of those things. And so we're here to help practice, healthy accountability, non-toxic accountability and resilience. And so I have a certification, I'll jump back a little bit to this. It's called System and Soul, and this is an organization based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And when I decided to become a coach, I was looking at what kind of credential and what kind of tools and framework operating systems can I use that'll best serve business communities. And System and Soul is the one that I landed on because obviously businesses run on systems, but if there's no heart and soul engine to drive that system forward, your cart's not gonna go anywhere. And so my Elevate Daytona Beach presentation was about that very topic. If we have some sort of disconnect between the heart and soul, the people of our business, and the systems that they are working in every day, your legacy business is not going to make the journey, especially in today's culture where we're seeing a lot of people endure the hardship of corporate greed. There's companies where CEOs are making buku bucks and then their employees can't even afford to buy their own groceries without assistance. And so we really want to come in and disrupt organizations, maybe not at that scale, but really help people before you reach that extreme rapid growth. Give yourself a really strong foundation of not only taking care of your business, but taking care of your people, because they're the ones who are going to see you through your journey. Oh, wrong one. There we go. And then the other certification that I decided to pursue that I'm still in progress with is a life coaching certification with the Limitless Institute, an organization based out of Orlando. I decided to do this because it felt really in alignment with practicing my interview skills, and it helps me be a better facilitator. So I use the word coach, but really I aim to be a world-class facilitator. Getting people in a room, starting conversation, stirring the pot, if you will, and seeing kind of what bubbles up so that we can address any hardships within your organization. And there's our system and soul. And then my why. Why did I decide, I could become any entrepreneur. I could be a junk remover, I could be a financial advisor, I could be a videographer, but I decided to become a coach because I've been reflecting on my own professional experiences, and there have been some times where I wasn't met where I was at, and I wasn't met with dignity and treated with respect. And so my real why is restoring dignity to the workplace, because business is personal. So I need some crowd participation. Raise your hand if you work in a business or you own a business. Okay, there might be some retired folks, that's great. Hands down. And now one more time, raise your hand if you're a person. Cool, so to me, business is personal, and that exercise demonstrates that for all of us. And so as a coach, I bring 3 things to the session room that really promote transformation. First and foremost, I create a space. We call it creating the container. So it's that cone of silence where what we say in the room stays in the room until we decide we're gonna roll out progress to our team. But what I also bring is myself. So you might see that there's a system and soul coach in Orlando, you might see one in Atlanta, in Washington, in Germany, but I will bring a unique experience that none of them will bring. And if I'm not the right coach for you, we'll probably find that out pretty quickly, and I have a whole network of people to refer you to. But I think I bring a great set of personal experience to the coaching room. And then of course, through my certification, we bring a tried and true framework that really brings a lot of clarity and alignment to organizations, so that you're not just spending time doing busy work, but instead you get realigned on what really matters most, and you are doing the work that is most productive and moving your mission and vision forward. Some of the challenges that we alleviate for organizations: an absence of trust. How many people feel like there's this divide of the senior leadership team, and if I'm a general employee and I get called to the office, I feel like I'm getting called to the principal's office. It's only gonna be bad news. So we create more trust in our organizations. There's a fear of conflict. I don't wanna start working on that project because I know if I start, I'll do my half, and then I'm gonna take over the entire other half that person isn't competent in, trained in, focused on. A lack of commitment, same kind of concept. Avoidance of accountability. Again, we're working on things that are busy work, or we're working on things that are productive work, and then inattention to results at large. So these are kind of some of the 5 key issues we see in organizations that we've had success restoring. And then bringing in a coach, really the why behind, not everyone thinks they need a coach, and I don't think everyone does need a coach. But I think when you become a leader at a certain level, you start realizing I'm hitting a ceiling or a wall, and for some reason I just can't break past it alone. Because what got you here isn't going to get you to the next chapter of the journey, and maybe you just don't have the tools you need to make that journey happen. And so we come in for an interim period to help you through that journey. But it allows you to access other talents within your team. We do some great exercises that bring clarity into what are someone's strengths? Are people in the right seat? Should your CEO really be your business development manager, and should your accountant really be your COO? So shifting some things around in that arena, changing to how projects are staffed, creating shared language for the team. You know, how many of you have ever used like a code word if you're a gamer or if you're a parent? Like, oh man, I could really use ice cream, and I could really use ice cream means we need to put the kids to bed. So sometimes when you're, you know, operating your mission and vision, you need some words for your senior leadership team that only they know, so that if something is going awry, you can signal that to one another in a way that doesn't create panic in your organization. We provide a framework for innovation in work, and the benefit behind using a framework is that work doesn't become overly personalized. Yes, we're all people, but if we're practicing accountability, we now can say, we agreed to put all of these metrics into a system. You elected yourself to be the person to see this operating system through for the next 90 days, and now it seems like there's some sort of hang-up. Let's get curious about what held you back. Oh, you spent more time onboarding a new employee. Oh, you got sidetracked. Like, we can have a more honest conversation that's out of curiosity and not out of judgment. And ultimately, we're aiming to improve productivity and morale. And so I want to highlight really quickly the 3 tracks that we are currently majorly offering to our clientele. The first is our senior leader track. So a commitment typically is on a 2-year basis. We do 3 intensive days in month 1 on day 1, 30, and 31. And by day 90, we are already seeing really fantastic results, which is exciting. And then we meet with organizations, their senior leadership teams, on a 90-day cadence over the course of 2 years. Now, some people say, well, let's just try it out for a year. Okay, I'm not gonna hold your feet to the fire. But we get to that 1 year, and then maybe someone tapers off, and then a few months go by, and they go, oh man, Caitlin, we need you back. Okay, I'm back. Because sometimes when we're doing a training series, we understand the exercise, but without the accountability to continue to do those reps meaningfully and consistently, we have a moment of attrition. And so then if we're here to keep you accountable, to help you reach that goal consistently, then you can move forward in that way. The second thing we're doing, we actually created a series called Leadership Labs. And the thought behind this is a lot of young in their career leaders aren't trained on how to be leaders. They're not trained on how to be managers or C-suite executives. They might be a great accountant, and then they become the manager of the accounting department, and those are 2 very different jobs. And then there's a lot of frustration and judgment and guilt, like, oh, I thought I was ready for this. And you weren't made ready for it. And so we have a large list of topics that if a fleet of middle managers are struggling with, we educate and we do some experiential learning in these arenas. And then this really helps build your culture in the center. And so it starts trickling upward to your C-suite, and it starts trickling down to your independent contributors. And then the last thing, which we actually just launched last week with our very first client, is 2-on-1 intensive coaching. When you reach the top summit of the C-suite, unless you have a board of directors that is incredibly passionate and diligent, you don't really have someone going and looking over your shoulder, checking your homework, and asking you, how's it really going? And so I heard some mms. Okay, good. So that's great support. So the benefit of a coach then is to say, I know I need help. I know I have blind spots. I need someone to have my back and walk the journey to the top of the mountain with me, so that I don't hit pitfalls, I don't make mistakes on accident, and I'm making sure that my mission and driven are driving forward in a sustainable, meaningful way. And so I wanted to highlight a little bit about my ideal client. I hear us talk a little bit about that in these organization meetings. And I think the biggest thing I differ from in most people is I'm not looking for an industry, I'm looking for a personality profile. And the biggest part of that is an entrepreneur or a C-suite leader who is hungry for change and hungry for growth. If they don't have that baseline, industry aside, they aren't the right person for me. There are coaches that will work with someone who's less hungry and they have an industry niche. But the thing that matters to me most, whether it's storage or healthcare or recovery, you have to be hungry for that change. And then outside of that, some of the parameters we see are helpful is that businesses have between 10 and 20 employees because we want to work with a team, we want to affect change at a large scale. Typically, annual revenue is probably from 2 to 50 million. So not necessarily a startup and not, the big box chain or maybe Fortune 500 organizations. And then businesses that are ultimately challenged by scaling, retention, operational inconsistency, or unclear vision and mission. Because how many organizations have a vision and mission and it's on the wall and then 3 years go by and they're like, oh wait, we haven't lived our organization by that mission and vision for the past few years. So we really make that front of mind. We actually have people do a worksheet and then we encourage them to carry it around every single day. So every decision you make in your business is filtered through that exercise. And then how you can help me, at least some of the ways I thought you might be able to help me. If you know a business that fits my ideal client profile, I would be super grateful for an email introduction. Hey, I heard Caitlin give this presentation. Some of the things you and I have talked about offline sound like she can help you. Just making that introduction would be a great deal of support to me. And if your business fits my ideal client profile, or even if it's off a little bit, like this is my 1 Million Cups community, I'm being given an opportunity for me to grow, and so if I can help you grow, I would love to have a conversation, grab a cup of coffee, and something we offer is a complimentary strategy sprint session. So it's a 90-minute session that really provides a lot of value. We take your top players, the people who, if you could have them in business with you for the next 50 years, those are the people I want in this room with us. And we take 90 minutes to just make sure, are we aligned? Are we moving forward? Are we being productive? Or are we being busy? And then a bonus. If you serve on a board of directors, I'd like to offer the same opportunity to your board as well. We are looking to take on a pro bono client as a board of directors. I'm really passionate about nonprofit work. So if it's a hospital, if it's Boys and Girls Club, United Way, something of that nature, I'd love to have that conversation as well. And so my closing question to you is, who helps you become a better leader? Thank you.
All right.
Hit me with your questions.
Yes.
Am I on? There we go. Hey, that was great, wasn't it? Man, that was good. Good job today. That was a great presentation. So I love the way, I love all your presentations and what you offer. One of the things I like was the fact that at the early beginning, when you're talking to potential clients, one of the things that is a benefit and advantage to them is that they get you. And I think that's a really strong statement, and it helps bring them, it brings them over that trust threshold, because you just make that statement. Years ago, I had a boss when I got into sales. One of the things he taught me was you're worth 10%. When we're talking about the price wars, you're worth 10%. You can charge more because they get you as part of that deal. And I think that's really important because it takes that kind of thing out of the question and it just says, okay, we get her and move forward and trust you. So we're going to bring around the microphone. You want to start?
Oh.
You raising your hand? I can get you. We're going to bring the microphone around for those of you who are here for your first time. This gives you an opportunity to make observations, offer ideas that might help Caitlin, and just talk about what she's got going on here. So, Val, you're starting.
Caitlin, congratulations on your 1 Million Cups presentation. We love, and I saw your Elevate Daytona speech. It's online if you haven't watched it. It's on YouTube. And I did hear you sing at Jackie Robinson Park. So congratulations. Yes, I heard that too. So I am part of the Volusia Manufacturing Association Board of Directors. So I'd love to take you up on that. That organization has been in the community for over 32 years, and we have a lot of board of directors, new ones, and we're hungry and we want change. So I'll have to take you up on that. And love your presentation, and love the last question. It's like, who helped you become a better leader? I have a mentor, and the person who actually helped me become a leader, when I answer that, was Charlie Howell. In my past life, I worked in a nonprofit government agency, and having having somebody, and I echoed a lot of the stuff that you taught in my past life, having a person, a mentor who is willing to take you in and give you sound advices to help you grow and to become a manager and a leader that I am now. So I credit that to Charlie. Thank you. So I just want to make that comment. So, thank you.
Cool. Who else? Jake, for y'all don't know me, Jason Frederick with Edward Jones. Caitlin, fabulous presentation. And I think from the lack of questions, you explain yourself very clearly. Because typically, there's all sorts of questions like, what are they doing? How do they charge? What's this? I think you did fabulous. What I realized when you were talking about your counseling, your coaching, and your, what was the other one? Consulting. I was like, man, she's describing my job to a T. So it's funny how much these two, even though I'm a completely different industry, I completely align with what you're saying. I thought you did fabulous, and not to fight with different boards and directors to come to, but I love to invite you to a couple of boards that I'm part of as well, to see if you're a good fit for that.
Okay, let's check it out.
Yeah.
Cool, tell me about the business. How many clients are you working with now? What kind of clients, or how many clients are you looking to work with? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so I have, it's a little interesting. It's technically one client, it's one business right now, but we've actually implemented all three of our offering tracks. So we are working with their senior leadership team in that S2 leadership track. We have done 2 cohorts of leadership labs, so we put 20 of their employees, 10 and 10, through that. We'll be starting another group in a few weeks. And then just this past week, rather than a senior leader, we have a middle manager who has a really unique set of circumstances, and the CEO sees a lot of value in this person, but they need some tough love and polishing as a professional to help keep them and really elevate them within the organization. So it's been really interesting to implement all of those tracks. In an ideal world, between my partner and I think we're really hoping to have a suite of 20 businesses at large. Which program they're utilizing is yet to be determined, but between the two of us, I think a bandwidth of 10 solid clients where each of us is taking the lead. But, and something I failed to mention, we do all of our coaching currently in partnership with one another. So you're not just getting one coach, you're actually getting 2 coaches. Some of you might know him, his name is Manny De La Vega. He's a successful entrepreneur in the restaurant industry. He has a restaurant out in DeLand for over 20 years. He also just launched a kind of meal prep service, lunch service out at DeLand as well, and he's been coaching for about 15 years on a volunteerism basis, visiting Central and South America and helping budding entrepreneurs and businesses. And then just pre-COVID, he decided, I want to take the next step, and so then we met through the chamber, and now he's my partner. So he's had a number of clients utilizing the System and Soul framework. He's had a lot of success, and they've all graduated out of their tracks up to this point. Oh, there we go. Now the questions are coming.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. I need them, y'all.
All the way into the
I don't get better unless I get put to the test. Hibby.
Hi, Caitlin. Thanks for your presentation, Heath Jones, Fractional Unit Marketing. So you mentioned when you were doing the presentation, right people, right position, which sounds, I've heard that before in the EOS strategy for enterprise.
Yes, you did.
You're very familiar with that, of course.
I am.
So in terms of creating yourself a funnel, are you working with EOS integrators or people that can refer you clients? Because it seems to me that I've got a relationship with an integrator locally who's a professional integrator who goes into companies of exactly the size you're saying, who are having the problems that you're describing, and it seems to me that there's a synergy between what he's doing and what you might be able to offer.
There is. I didn't want to step in this, but you brought it up, so I'm going to go for it. So EOS, for those who don't know, is Entrepreneurial Operating System. It is a very similar framework. Our CEO at System and Soul was an implementer himself, and through time and expansion of EOS, like many things, when you get larger, you have to get more rigid. And so he felt like, this isn't working for me anymore. I think there is something to this soul element that isn't happening with EOS. And so I'm going to try my best to make something that incorporates that. And that is what really spoke to me as a coach who wanted to bring a framework, but recognized we have to address the soul element. So I know a few self-implemented EOS clients. And as far as my referral funnel, I'm looking for connections with economic development managers. I'm looking at joining a Provisors group out in the Orlando area, which is similar to BNI, but is much more B2B and higher professional services level. And then I'm also looking to just continue my public speaking opportunities and just sort of evangelize my message that, you know, business is personal and I want to help you make every day a victory. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool. Anybody else?
I saw one
Okay,
here in here.
Lori up here? Excuse me. Oh, there you go.
Well, thanks again for your presentation. It was really insightful. So, you know, one of your tracks was 2 years, right? And I believe you had 2 tracks. What happens after the 2 years? Is there still coaching available? Is it one-on-one? Is it? So can you kind of expand, like if someone graduates,
Absolutely.
what happens after that?
Yeah, if someone graduates and they want to stay on, they just appreciate the benefit of that continuous accountability. I'll stay on. Obviously, if I get to a place where my business has expanded to a point where I'm at a bandwidth capacity, then there might become a conversation of, well, maybe we've brought on a new coach at that time, and that person deserves the opportunity to train and grow. So then they're losing the me element. But I don't foresee that becoming a challenge. Some of our coaches in our System and Soul organization have a client 5, 6, 7, 10 years, you know, prior to their System and Soul integration. So if people want to continue the track, they certainly can. We would just continue essentially the path. Or people might decide, well, we don't want you to continue to do our senior leadership track. We want to transition you over to our board of directors. Or we want to drop the senior leadership track and flex you in for the leadership labs. And the leadership labs, I'll clarify as well, it's paced at whatever duration you want. So if you want to have 8 sessions over the course of 8 weeks, if you want to have 8 sessions over the course of 8 months, it's really up to whatever the organization decides. And one-on-one coaching, or in this case, 2-on-1 coaching, is very personal. Sometimes you have one 30-minute conversation with someone, we crack their world wide open, and the work is done. Sometimes people need more warming up to, they have multiple dimensions of their life that they need support in. And I'm certainly one to say, I don't know everything. I'm also not a licensed mental health professional, and so I'm grateful that my affiliation with my life coaching certification has granted me access to a wide network of licensed mental health professionals, if that is the depth that we are getting into in those conversations.
Thank you. And my assumption is you can obviously serve in the United States. You can serve. Is it in person at all, or is it just remote?
Yeah, my personal preference is in person because, I mean, biologically, when someone feels stressed, the people around them a meter out can sense it. And so if I'm not in the room, I don't get that sense. I might kind of sense it, you know, but I prefer the in-person. But the work can be done digitally, and it can be done in the United States or internationally. I would love to put my travel cap on. If anyone knows anyone in Australia, let me know. And, you know, that's kind of a dream spot for me. There's actually some mental health organizations based out of New Zealand that I am going to be reaching out to pursue some pro bono services. I really believe in their missions, and have inquired ones like, hey, we need to bring this to the U.S. They need money, and I'm like, well, let's see what we can do to help get these people money, kind of thing. So I appreciate that question.
Hey, Laura McMullen with your Daytona Regional Chamber. Knocked it out of the park here, knocked it out of the park at Elevate. I'm trying to make this not sound like a shameless plug, but you mentioned meeting up with economic development professionals, and we have a lot going on in September, so it can get lost in the shuffle potentially, but on Friday, September 26th at the Chamber, open to members and everyone, not just members, we have Brew and Build, a coffee, and we're featuring my former colleague and Val's and Charlie's, Lou Paris, who's the Economic Development Director for the county, and he will be doing 10 tips in 10 minutes, and then we'll have open networking. But I know several people are probably excited that he's there on top of that to try to get their separate meetings with them. So,
And Manny and I are registered, so we will see you there.
Cool,
Yes.
awesome.
All right. What else? That's it? You guys are good?
There's always one more.
That's okay. Good.
Don't be shy, y'all.
It's real quick. Thank you, Caitlin. I just want to say thank you for the encouragement, because even though I may not be yet in that 5 to 10 million range, but the encouragement of becoming a better leader for not for my business, for my employees, but for the community. Just being new to Daytona Beach Shores and feeling like family there. The shores have been great, especially with our, what's it called? Rebuild, but our chamber. Sorry, I had to look at Sean, like our chamber. But I just want to thank you for that, because sometimes when you open up a new business, there's a lot of things that come out and didn't even know it was inside of you. So that's cool, but to learn and grow and see what the possibilities and still being hungry. Because my business partner, Lisa, we had this vision and we are hungry. So I want to say thank you for that, because those words are very inspiring. So I thank you for the encouragement to keep going.
You're welcome. Thank you. And if I have one quick little minute.
And go Knights.
Go Florida at large. And we'll go Giants. So, and just a quick insight also. Everyone here on the east side of the county is like, oh, Ripple Co-working. And I'm like, oh no. We're not affiliated. I'd love to do a partnership with them in some form or fashion.
Yeah,
But we were previously operating under the name De La Vega Business Advisors. And on the west side of the county, everyone saw De La Vega and was like, hey, you're here to do catering. So I was like, no, we're not. I'm not here about the restaurant. So let's rebrand. And so Manny and I sat down, and I picked this word Ripple because I heard it during my onboarding with my system and soul certification, but it really stuck with me. It's not just about making you a better professional. Well, how can what I teach you in these sessions help you be a better spouse, be a better parent, be a better community leader? And I had it as an idea, and I didn't know if it would translate, and then I was in one of my leadership labs, and we're on a break, and one of the gentlemen turns to a peer and he goes, yeah, the session that we just got out of, I'm really excited to bring this into my relationship with my son.
Nice.
And I just got chills, and every time I say it, I get chills, because it is really about, leadership, we think usually in maybe politics or in business, but you're a leader every time you interact with someone. How am I gonna dictate and move in a way that calls people forward to be their best selves and not shut people down? Or be dismissive or things of that nature. So every decision we make is a leadership decision, and so if we can start inspiring that mindset, that is a big proponent of what we do. So I just wanted to give that little insight.
Caitlin, great presentation.
Oh, who am I talking with?
Over here.
There he is, okay.
Very impressive, your skills behind a microphone, you're comfortable and everything, that's really cool. But my curiosity of when you're dealing with certain business executives, and I know you said that they have to be open to change, that type of thing, and there was one other component, but open to change, and then you find out that's not the case whatsoever. I'm curious how you deal with that, whether it's like you just try and find a way to break them, or if it's just kind of sever and say this isn't going to work out.
Yeah, well, and especially because curtain horse, people think that there might be some breaking involved, but there's coaxing, I'm going to help try and show you a new way of seeing something. And it's also not, as a coach, going back to that coach versus consultant role, I'm not here to solve any problems. I'll be the first one to say, you're the expert in your industry, I'm not. What I have developed expertise in and continue to grow in is how people connect with people. And so it's about facilitating a conversation where maybe the CEO is, very authoritarian, I'm making all of the decisions, I don't necessarily want input from people, it's my business. And then we get them in a room with their chief legal counsel, their COO, their executive assistant, and I simply prompt a really effective, high-gain question to say, how do you all feel about what's being said? Because I'm just a third party and an observer, and I don't have to be here 9 to 5, 5 days a week, or whatever the hours are. And it is those thoughtful, vulnerable, radical conversations that will, in theory, in hope, affect positive change. Does it happen every time? No. I haven't run into this experience, knock on wood, but I know that there are definitely people within our industry who, if you're just, you're digging your heels in and you don't want to move forward, then I also have, as a coach, have the right to say, when we embarked on this journey together, you told me you were ready for change, and what I've observed over the past 3, 6, 9, 12 months is a sincere resistance to change. And so now we are at a crossroad. I'm reinvesting in this conversation. Do I have your buy-in? Or is this not a right fit? And I can find you someone that might be able to facilitate some of the change that you want, but might not be able to get you all of the results that I know you're hungry for, but there is some sort of fear element keeping you from moving forward. Or maybe it's a money issue and they're embarrassed that it's a money issue, you know, like, and that's why I chose to go into this life coaching certification as well, because any resistance to change is probably inspired by some sort of internal protection mechanism. It's, I'm afraid, I'm embarrassed, I'm gonna lose my job, I'm gonna lose my employees, I'm gonna lose my reputation. And so then we just kind of sit in the mud with like, well, how realistic is that? And well, if it all fell to, how bad would it be? Could you survive it? And just helping people sit with those emotions. I was talking with someone recently, doing my life coaching that I'll be doing today. And I think it's really interesting that when people are overwhelmed with emotion, they use the phrase choked up, and we use it so casually. But like to choke something is to bring death upon it. And so how many of us have emotional agility that when we get moved in a way that is so overwhelming, we can come back to ourselves and make a rash response rather than making a reaction. So those are some of the things we work on also. And that I think when we have those really sincere conversations, we either find that we're at an impasse that isn't fixable at this chapter, or we make a really significant breakthrough, and then the floodgates open and we find a lot of change.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look, Charlie.
Oh, I'm excited to hear from Charlie.
See, you got all kind of questions.
He's the heavy hitter, so I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for all of them, but.
You use the term, what got you here won't get you there.
Yes, sir.
And that tells me you're familiar with the general life cycle of the business, the S curve. So every business, no matter how big or small they are, is going to reach a point where they have to change or they become obsolete. And I just want to praise you for what you were just explaining, because that's the hardest part, is to get somebody to realize they have to change or they're going to become obsolete. And just thank you for that. I think you have something that's going to be really necessary in the coming years.
That is my hope, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Last call. Last call.
Oh my God, I love it. I haven't seen this many questions in the past 2 weeks. It's great.
Thanks again for your presentation, wonderful, and it sounds like you definitely tie a lot of your mental health background into coaching efforts. And is that something that you discuss with your clients as far as their, their personality and behaviors go? Do you want to look about that in family when you get started with somebody?
Yeah, one of the exercises we do is more professionally focused, but it speaks to personality. It's called Working Genius. This is a great exercise you can run really just within your own organization, and it helps people understand there's these 6 dimensions of who we are in a collaborative space or a workspace. So there's your working genius. It's that type of work you're doing and like time melts away, 8 hours have gone by and you're like, oh, I feel refreshed. I love doing that work. And then there's 2 dimensions that are your competencies. I can do that work. That's all right. I'll get it done. I'll do it well. That's not like what gets me excited in the morning. And then there's your working frustration. Oh, I have to send those emails. I have to make those cold calls. Some people love cold calls. That's the thing. They'll make 100 calls a day and that's their genius. For other people, that's their frustration. And so that kind of ties into that element of right people in the right seats, understanding what are the opportunities and the actions, those daily metric drivers that I can plug people into where everyone is getting as much joy and benefit from their contributions to the organization.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, you kind of already answered the question, but we always ask.
Yeah.
The very last question we always ask is, when we all leave here this morning, what's the one thing that the 1MC community of Daytona can do for you.
Yes.
Remind us.
So as I shared, if you feel like you fit my profile, if you want to grab coffee, I certainly welcome that conversation. If you know a board of directors that might benefit from some pro bono services, I'm super excited to pursue that. And if you know of speaking engagements, if there's conferences that are looking for someone to speak on some of the topics that we cover, I would love to be able to audition and be considered for those. And then, like I said, if you need a singer, I'm happy to audition.
Yeah.
So those are the ways you all can help me. And I just appreciate everyone being here, and I really appreciate all of the thoughtful questions and trying to understand me at a deeper level, because coaching is something that is so experiential. It's kind of hard to grasp. It's not numbers on a chart. It's a lot of emotion and feeling, but beyond the process and procedure. So I just really appreciate everyone's willingness to engage in conversation with me about my passion today. So thank you.
Good job.